I'm 45, and so I got NWA. I mean, it was,
Maybe
yeah. Well,
like
when the
10.
record, yeah, when the record came out, let me see how old I am. The first record came out on Straight Outta Compton, was released January 25th, 1989. And I'm 9 years old. I'm still making the crossover from listening to like rock and roll into
Yeah.
hip hop. And I don't think NWA immediately got me. It really didn't get me until, was it 2000 Miles and Running? That was when I really, their second record, that was when I really started digging into them and I was really into hip hop. But I mean, you were of an age that you're at the place where this record was probably, if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, it must have hit you in
College.
such a way. Where'd you grow up, and like kind of like just give me like a quick little backstory about how you found this record, and maybe before that the hip hop that you were listening to, because I argued, and I'll get into this, I argued with this younger kid about how he thinks that new hip hop is better than old hip hop because it's newer. And I was like, he tried to compare it to like, would you rather have a brand new iPhone or an iPhone 1? And I was like, it's not the same because there's
It's
no
not.
that without that. So tell me your story, bro, quick.
Yeah, Birmingham, Alabama, born and raised. I went to Alabama State University, and NWA was like hot, like when I was in college, even on my way out of college. Like we was listening to NWA, and before that, of course, it was like the Sugar Hill Gang, Curtis Blow. In the high school, it was Dougie Fresh. Dougie Fresh came out. I was working at Showbiz Pizza, so I was like,
Wait, was that like a Chuck E. Cheese?
yeah. So Showbiz, it was Chuck E. Cheese first, and then Showbiz took over. Then Chuck E. Cheese sued Showbiz, and now it's all Chuck E. Cheese. And
Hmm.
but yeah, I used to work there, and I remember in the kitchen making pizza, us back there listening to hip hop. That's when I got turned on to Dougie Fresh, and then by the time I got to college, man, N.W.A. was out, and it was like that was the first time you heard cussing in the music. And so we was kids. It was like you wasn't supposed to listen to that, but we were all ears. So yeah, man. Easy E, Ice Cube, MC Ren, Yellow Man. Yeah, man. That was our joint.
So let me ask you a question, because you said something that was really important right there, and you said it was the first time you heard cussing. What I mean, there obviously was cussing in hip hop before that. Like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like I'm not saying like Sugar Hill Gang. No, they never cussed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like Melly Mel, or any of like what you would call the pioneers of hip hop. But 1989, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have all the facts in front of me, but I mean, Public Enemy's out. Before that, at least It Takes a
Yep.
Nation must have come out right around, because Fear of a Black Planet, I think, is 1990. God damn, I wish I had all this shit in front of me. Dude, Jared, correct my math as I go with this stuff. So kind
Hmm.
of
It
like see if
sounds
you can
about
pull.
right though. Yeah.
What?
I think
Because
so too.
it's one of those things, when I was talking to this kid, and I'll give you the quick story about it, Ricky, which is me and comedian Big J Okerson. We went to go see Wu-Tang Clan's last concert at Madison Square Garden.
Oh
And
wow.
Jeremiah, and Wu-Tang Clan for us was like, I mean, dude, that
Everything.
that was like, yeah, it was like our life was one way, and then Wu Tang came out, and my life was different.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because we bring the kid, and he's not enjoying it. He's actually vibing off what we're doing. But on the 2 days later, we're leaving someplace, and I'm giving the kid a ride home. And that was where he said that thing. He was like, "Yeah, it's like, I mean, Wu Tang's good, but it's like it just sounds like noise to me. The way they're rapping and day to day, and then he's like, and I love all like the new shit. That's all the melodic stuff." And and that was like the moment I was like, dude, what you're saying is everything new is better than things like, and I brought up NWA. It's like you have a group, no one's done this before, that got on their first record and said fuck the police
Yep.
during a time when shit, and I mean, I lived in LA, but I lived in LA I moved there in '07. So, I mean, I know it's still the Compton and Watts and places like that are still, harder places to live. But I mean,
Yeah.
in 1987, 88, I mean, like, what was that like? What was that like? You're growing up in the South. I mean, I'm assuming, with good area, bad area. What's the area like? I'm trying to get the full picture of everything.
I mean, it was where I grew up is kind of like middle class or whatever, but I'm a product of Section 8, but hell, we didn't know that we lived in the project because it was not a lot of crime. People
Yeah.
kept the hood like really nice, no paper on the ground. Everybody was nice to each other. People had gardens and stuff or whatever. But going to high school or whatever, we knew the song was bad when the president of the United States did a press conference
Yeah.
about I think it was Bush. It was the first Bush. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's when the police came out, man, and that seems like it tripled the amount of ears that it got because like it was crazy and people started to feel like that towards the police officers because that was a thing.
I mean, not only was that a thing, but it's like now you have somebody that's finally like, because it's like you hear about it, but it's not just, and then like to say the black community where they obviously know that the police has been, just the way the police treats the individuals that live in the harder
Sure.
areas. But now it's spreading out of Los Angeles, getting into places like where we grew up in Maryland, whether it's the suburbs or the bad areas of DC. It's like this is like one of the most important shifts in my opinion probably in hip hop because Public
Yeah.
Enemy's doing the political thing. Public Enemy's saying the same shit, but dude, it's not fuck the police, which is such a statement just on that fact, the fact that they're cussing in it. And this is like one of their biggest songs like ever. I mean, it's what was it were you guys just attracted to it for the message, or were you attracted to it just because like, no, this is finally people are saying the shit that needs to be said?
Yeah, it was like finally people saying what needs to be said because police brutality was real. And I remember '79 when Benita Carter got killed. It was a big riot in Birmingham, Alabama. You probably could Google it. Benita Carter was
Mhm.
killed by a white police officer. As she sat in her car, she was shot in the back by George Sand. That was the name of the police officer. And I remember it being riots in the street, and I remember in the streets, and I remember police officers walking through our neighborhood, shooting out the street lights, telling
Oof.
people to get in the house, and telling people to go in the house, and people were throwing bricks. And I remember it looked like it wasn't the National Guard, but the police officers was coming through, and you could hear the gunshots. They were shooting out street lights, whatever, because it was a riot. And when Reverend Al and Joseph Lowry, Reverend Jesse Jackson, they all came to town. It was a big march, it was a big protest. And that was the first time Birmingham elected the first black mayor. His name was Richard Arrington Jr. But that F the police resonated because people hated the police. And after that, the policing in the city of Birmingham, Alabama, definitely changed after that. Once Richard Arrington became mayor, but that was a thing back in the '70s. People had an issue with racial profiling in our police officers. So when that song came out, it was crazy. It was like people expressing themselves because they have always felt that way, or whatever. Even still to this day, I can still hear that song in my head or whatever, and even the nervousness of when I get pulled over by police. I had a white police officer pull me over last year and just simply told me to just relax. Everything is fine. Just want to check. Because he felt what I felt and he wanted to make me comfortable. And he said, relax. He said, you're in no danger. He said, you're good. You're good. He
He's
talked, he
like, don't
talked to me.
worry. He's like, don't worry. I saw your Def Comedy Jam set. I'm a huge fan. You got nothing to worry
No,
about.
now I did run a red light one time and got pulled over, and I said,
Mhm.
man, we just drove from New Orleans. We just trying to go to sleep, but we have some beignets. We have some what's the cake with the baby in there? Whatever
What,
those
fuck,
cake. Yeah,
cake with the
those cakes.
baby. What?
You know, they have the
Wait,
little
wait.
baby crown cake, the crown cake.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the crown cake, and we had some pralines. So I said, hey, but we got some stuff from New Orleans, just to show him that we came from New Orleans. And he took some and he ate it. And he said, all right, guys, go ahead, be careful. Other than that, so, but yeah, police. That song still in my head to this day.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you. I'm going to ask you a question after I say this one because I want to see if it's ever happened to you, bringing up like some of the stuff you've done in your career, and obviously, you're a person of influence as being an entertainer.
Mhm.
Um, has, has your fame ever gotten you out of trouble with the police? Because I went to go to. I've been in Europe for like about a month and a week now, and I went to London to go see Oasis. And on the first night, I brought like a weed vape and some candies so I could take it during the show. And I'm walking up Wembley Stadium steps, and a cop dog smells me, and I'm thinking like, oh, this is nothing. Like I have weed on me in LAX all the time, and the dog will just smell me and just move on. And I love dogs, so I kind of was like, "Oh, look at the puppy." And then the guy's like, "I'm sorry, sir. I've got to search you if you've got drugs on you. The dog seemed to have smelled something." And I'm like, "All right." And then they pull me over and they take me to the side, and the security's searching me. I'm pulling everything out, make me take my shoes off. They find the vapes. They're like, "Is this weed?" I'm like, "No, it's nicotine." And the guy's like, "It doesn't smell like nicotine." And another guy's like, "Maybe it's CBD." And I'm like, "Yes, it's CBD. That's what it is." And then as they're searching me, somebody goes, "I think I've seen some of your clips on YouTube." And I was like, "Oh," and because of that, they let me go.
Yeah.
Has something like that ever happened to you?
Yeah, it wasn't because of who I was, but I told him that I was a comedian. I was coming back from the show. I was in between Meridian and Jackson, Mississippi.
Mhm.
And I got pulled over by a big cop that looked like he used to play offensive tackle for Ole Miss. And
Yeah, big dude.
yeah, and I said, I'm a comedian. I just performed. I'm trying to get back. He said, all right. He said, I tell you what, you tell me a joke. He said, but it better be funny. And I'll let
Mhm.
you go. I said, how do you want it? You want it clean or you want it dirty? He said, I like it dirty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I told him a dirty ass joke. And that man about fell over his car because he was laughing so hard. Till another police officer came and they drew on me because they thought I had hit the officer because why is this officer laid out?
Oh my
And
God, that's hilarious.
and then I had to tell the joke again to those officers, and they laughed their ass off and they let me go on about my way.
Oh, thank God, dude. That's
But
hilarious.
it was a
Whoa.
Okay.
dirty, dirty, dirty joke. But it
Do you
was
remember it?
more funny than it was dirty.
Do you remember it? Can you tell it to us now? Do you remember
Oh
the joke?
yeah. I told him that I got lost. I just picked a city. I said, yeah, I was lost in Jackson. I was trying to get back to Highway 20. And I was about to ask the lady for directions. How do I get back to Highway 20? But what I really noticed that she was eating this big piece of watermelon and she had her dress pulled all the way up and her legs open. And I said, ma'am, you must be trying to let that thing get some air. She said, no, it's not getting any air, but it's damn sure keeping the flies off this watermelon. So
Hey,
All right, we'll give you a
it
warning.
worked.
Get
It worked.
out of here, dude.
It worked for
You're
us too.
good.
Wow.
You're good. I don't know if I want to go over the full history of the band, but I know for certain people that might not have seen the movie, like what do you think of before we get into the history, what did you think of Straight Outta Compton the movie? I mean, did you feel like it captured the essence of what they did? You tell me. I watched it once. I thought it was good. It was entertaining for sure.
yeah, I personally like the movie. One thing about movies like that is so many parts, you just can't tell it all. And when you start getting into movies like that, let's say for example like New Edition, where Bobby Brown has his own story, where Ralph Tresvant has his own story, Johnny Gill has his own story, BBD has
Mhm.
there. So you got all of the guys, you got Cube, you got um, Easy E or whatever. I think they did a great job and did the best that they could on trying to capture the story and tell as much as possible. I thought it was a
Yeah.
great movie. I thought it really moved. It was never a dull moment, or whatever, So I thought coming from the music industry, the entertainment industry, I thought the movie was great.
Yeah. It was, like I said, extremely entertaining. I think the people that played each one of the characters did a great job. And I mean, I bet, I don't think they're embellishing a lot of it, but it's got to be entertaining. But the story, I mean, the story of this group is pretty interesting. Jared, where do you have it? Do we have it under overview or formation, career arc? Because I can't find the exact thing. I wanted to find exactly how it started. Because was it Easy E that basically started this group? Am I wrong?
I think the overview is a good place to start, probably. Yeah.
No, because that's just giving you the subgenre, active from X, Y, and Z, and all that shit. So cut this part out, Peter, when we're doing it. But let's see.
Yeah.
I guess it says the formation. So Ice Cube stint. You know what? I know what the fuck I'm gonna look at. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm
So the
sorry.
formation of the band, maybe. Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. I got a better idea. I'm gonna read this shit off a Wicca motherfucking pedia. All right. Formation. So they're assembled. Pick it up from here. All right. They're assembled by Compton-based Eazy-E, who co-founded Ruthless Records with Jerry Heller. Jerry Heller is going to be a big name that comes up later. Eazy-E sought an introduction to Steve Yano. They initially rebuffed him, but he's impressed by the persistence, and he arranged a meeting with Dr. Dre, which Dr. Dre, if you guys remember, was in a few other groups. You ever see like old pictures of Dr. Dre before he got into NWA, and you're like, damn, dude, like, please never show these pictures ever again. Because it was in that
Right.
famous one where he's wearing that purple suit and he's like,
Yeah.
you're like, dude, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I think we all had to take those.
Yeah. I was like, dude, like, I can't believe I'm buying your headphones. Like, that's the gayest picture I've ever seen in my life. All right. So initially, it consisted of Eazy and Dr. J. Together with fellow producer Arabian Prince, Ice Cube is added to the roster. He started as rapper he started out in a group called CIA. Dre later brought DJ Yella on board. Dre and Yella were both members of the world-class Wrecking Crew, which is where those pictures were from that we just mentioned. Ruthless released a single Panic Zone in 87, which was later included on the compilation N.W.A. and the Posse. Through a bunch of different releases, the boys actually during that time created the song Boys in the Hood. And I think Boys in the Hood, what was the first song that you heard by them? Would it have been Boys in the Hood?
Oh, you talking about from NWA?
Yeah.
The one that I know my memory and the one that I like, I don't think it was on that particular album, but I like Find Them, Freak 'em, and Flee. That was my favorite. Do anybody remember that one?
I don't. It's funny. It's like I only really know this record, and then, like I said, is it 2,000 Miles and Running? Because I think I bought that one. Um, dude, I was never, dude, during this time, I was never a huge NWA fan. I'm not saying I didn't dig it. I was like Public Enemy, I was a Tribe Called Quest.
Oh
I was
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of the East Coast shit. I was a lot of the East Coast hip hop, man. EPMD,
yeah,
I loved EPMD. Also, dude, I'm a fucking 11-year-old kid. I loved Kid and Play. I loved the fun shit, like Ain't Gonna Hurt
yeah,
Nobody was just, it was fun. But I also, dude, this is I don't want to get off topic. This is aggressive. This is
yeah,
not, like
It
put
really
it on
is.
and just vibe to it. This is like you're listening to, this is like, I hate to say it, this is like I'm about to go beat somebody's ass music. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
It definitely wasn't nothing that you just sit up there like grooving to and you could dance off of. Man, you when you listen to those songs, you are in the car and you are listening to the lyrics. Like, but it's not music that'll have you get up and dance and put together a dance routine. You know what I mean? Now I
it's good.
could but that was the reason why I like Find Them, F 'em, and Flee. because it did have a dun 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 dun. And that it just had a good sound to it, and it was dirty, but it was jamming.
Yeah. So this record comes out January 1989. You say you're in college. I mean, I'm in Maryland, probably 9, 10-year-old kid. Um, the first single released off of this record is Gangsta Gangsta and then Express Yourself. Those are the two first singles. They never released Straight Outta Compton. They never released, they did do music videos for it, obviously. I don't know if they, I think they did one for Fuck the Police too.
Yeah,
The album ends up going triple platinum. It became the first rap album included into the Grammy Hall of Fame years later. And also, this has been selected for preservation in the Library of Congress National Recording Registry as culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. Is this one of the most important hip hop records ever made? Do you put this in the top 5, top 10, top 20? Where do you think this lays?
you talking about the album or that
The
particular?
album, the album, not, I'm talking about Straight Outta Compton. Is this, and I'm not saying the best, do you know what I mean? But I'm saying
Right.
important, shifting the music into a different direction. Because obviously, this is the same thing I said about us hearing Wu-Tang. For certain people and for music, I mean, this is really, is this the beginning of gangster rap?
Yeah, I would say so. Because when you think about gangster rap at my age, which is 57, gangster rap, that's probably the first gangster rap that I remember hearing was N.W.A. As far
Hmm.
as gangster rap.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there, I mean, obviously, it's like just the derivatives from this, with Dre breaking off, with Ice Cube going in his direction after this record. You know, without Dre leaving, there's no Snoop Dogg. I don't think. I think Tupac is the same person. If Tupac doesn't hear this record, he's still doing digital underground shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I
And
feel like coming from N.W.A, and then when Ice Cube and the Lynch Mob came out, and then Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, or whatever, people was really feeling West Coast music, but the music also became like jamming, like
yeah,
really really groovy, like you could just like California, it was that was really a thing in the 90s, like when all of that music came out.
yeah. It's just, it's so funny. It's like I keep thinking about this record, Ricky. The record that keeps popping into my head as not as culturally significant, but just as a record that literally got, let's say this, white people very scared, was Two Live Crew, Too Nasty. Was it, what was the record? Too Nasty, or Nasty as You Want to Be? I think that's what it was called. And it's
Uncle
totally
Luke.
different, but totally different.
Yeah,
But
that was more.
still,
It was more about sex with Two Live Crew and,
exactly.
and chicks in the
Yes.
strip club, in the Rolex, and what the strip clubs in Miami was. That was the Rolex. In Atlanta, you have Magic City.
Oh
You know,
yeah. Oh, I've
the,
been there,
the,
dude. Dude, like I say this to you, Ricky. So anytime I do the punchline, I hit 3 places. I go to Mary Mac's Tea Room to go get some soul food. I go to Silver
yeah,
Skillet for breakfast. And then I go to Magic City, usually quite early because I want to get the wings and I got to go to work. I still got to do shows. And I go to Magic City. I'm the first motherfucker in there.
yeah.
And I'm like, you got a girl? We got one girl working. And I go, oh, cool. And she keep bring her out. I'm gonna throw a little bit of money. And they're like, okay,
You're,
order the
you're
wings while I'm
clapping her,
waiting.
clapping her butt cheeks, and you got glitter all
Dude,
over your wings.
100%. 100%. I'm like, I like trying to eat. I'm like, but dude, I swear to God, my favorite conversation I've ever had at a strip club is, I say to the girl, I go, "Is this fully nude?" And she goes, "Oh yeah." And they bust it open. And I'm like, "They bust it open?" She goes, "They bust it open." And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
and then I saw it. They bust it open, dude.
Yeah,
They
my first strip
they
club
don't.
experience was with comedian Earthquake. I'd never been in a strip club, so I went. Earthquake took me to my first strip club. Uh, so that's how where it all started for me. But yeah, man. Two Live Crew, their music was just more explicit about sex
Yes.
than gang and whipping somebody's ass.
Yes, but what my point was more about, it wasn't the subject matter. It was just it scared white people. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? It's like Tipper Gore. You were talking about Bush. Like all of those people started putting the parental. This is the beginning of the parental advisory stickers that started going on records. If I'm not mistaken, it was probably right around this time. Um, but yeah, back to the formation. So they released this record. Obviously, like it sells a shitload of albums, but really it begins the beginning of the downfall. Like this is the only record that you're gonna get every member of NWA. From this point on, it completely starts shifting. It's just the infighting, fighting over money. I mean, you find out that Eazy-E and that guy Jerry are like ripping everybody off, um, which is so funny because it's like the two guys that basically ended up leaving eventually, especially Ice Cube right off the jump. It's like he leaves in '89, so that's very shortly after this record comes out over royalty disputes. And he also wrote half the lyrics on this record and was not getting the fair share of the profits, which led to the remaining members dissing him on their subsequent releases. Like, oh, it's 100 miles and running. I keep calling it 1,000 miles and running. What am I fucking doing? Um, but you would have let's see, following NWA jabs, Ice Cube responds with the track "No Vaseline,"
oh my
which led
God.
to
Oh my
yeah. What do you think of
God.
that? Yeah.
That's the greatest diss record of all time. Nothing tops it because it came off of a groove from the '70s. It came off everybody go on and dance. You go
Hmm.
and that right there also used that same beat was Cinderfella Dana Dane. Used that same beat for the song Cinderfella Dana Dane. But when he
Mhm.
did No Vaseline, that was one of the only records that you could actually dance to.
Sure. Well, no, not no more. Now you got Kendrick Lamar with fucking wah, 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 nah, wah, 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 nah.
They not like us. They not like
Yeah.
us.
Can you imagine No Vaseline sang at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but No Vaseline was it had funk to it. It was just funk. Like Kendrick Lamar is like this day and age. That's kind of like their sound. But Ice
Mhm.
Cube took it back to the '70s, man. With that song, it was funky, and it
Yeah.
was nasty and funky. So yeah.
Very nasty, very funky. All right, let's talk about some of the records on some of the songs on this record. Um, but interesting. It's like I keep wondering about that Library of Congress Hall of Fame. Like, is there any other records like when you think about this, you think about Straight Outta Compton being one of the more pivotal records, and it deserves, like I said, all the recognition it can get. Um, should it be getting like, do you think this album should get way more attention? Like is it like is this like Grammy Hall of Fame worthy? Like should they be in? I don't even know, are they in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? They were, yeah, they are inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2016. That was
I
the year
think
that
so
the
because
album came out.
I think so because it changed the game.
Yeah.
When NWA came out, man, it influenced a lot of artists. It changed the game, and seems like everything that came out after that was based around that.
Yeah. Do you feel that like with this being such a, I don't want to call it politically driven, but definitely cultural awareness, do you think that hip hop in 2025 is carrying the torch or completely lost direction?
Completely lost direction. There's no messages in any of the music anymore. There's no
Yeah.
awareness in any of the music before. Everything is calling women bees, and it's like everybody hate everybody. All the artists hate each other. I mean, NWA Ice Cube, they had their share of beef back then, but it wasn't like it is now. It's terrible now.
Yeah, it really, that kid tried to play me some new artist and say, no, this is what's great. And he put it on and I was like, I mean, it's not bad. It just sounds like everything I've already heard before that's come out. Like it's like there's nothing, you only have a few handful of hip hop artists that are really doing something different. And that's why something like this, something like Wu-Tang, something like Dr. Dre, The Chronic, I mean, Public
Yeah.
Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. That's why they're such important records. I was right. I was right when I said this, that this was the first album to feature a parental advisory sticker. Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife, was so incensed when she heard the explicit lyrics of the album. She said, because her young daughter was listening to it, she went on a basically a mission to found, I'm sorry, the Parental Music Resource Center to find any music that was unsuitable for minors. And so this was the first record. There's something about that though. There was something really about buying a record that had that sticker on it that made
Oh,
you
yeah.
feel badass, dude. You
Yeah,
know, I
that
don't
made
know.
that once you saw the sticker, that made you want to buy it right there. She should have
Yeah,
did
yeah,
that
yeah.
for the Donna Summers Love to Love You Baby song with all that sex moaning in the background. That was
So
that Donna
interesting.
Summer Bad Girl album, that was kind of risque as well, you know, especially for little boys. Your mom listening
Hmm.
to Love You Baby, and she's in the background having sex moaning through the whole damn song or whatever, you know.
But this is what's so cool, and you mentioned that earlier, is that the controversy that they gave this band is what blew them up. It's the same shit that happened to Shane Gillis when he got in trouble with SNL for making the joke, that got him canceled from the show. It literally brought attention to him, and now all the people that love just comedy found him. And it was like, if you like music and you got this band that's like, these guys are the toughest. This, I mean, literally, they got no radio airplay besides Straight Outta Compton and Express Yourself. And this record, it says triple platinum. That's 3 million albums. I mean, and this is the first rap album ever to gain 5 stars from Rolling Stone magazine during their initial review. And the term gangster rap soon, like I said, arose in journalism. It's coined because of this record. Whereas Ice Cube called this more reality rap. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I
Reality
mean,
versus
hell, they
gangster.
didn't have to promote the album. Hell, the government did it for them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anything that was controversial back then, was like, hey, we got to go get the N.W.A album. It was kind of like that, regardless of
Yeah.
whether you liked it or not. But the fact that I'll give you another example, just like everybody was crazy about the Richard Pryor Wanted album. You know,
Hmm.
you wasn't allowed to listen to that. It had a lot of cursing in it or whatever. Yeah, but when your mom would leave, you would put that album on and you would sit there, and that's the first time you heard somebody use words like that other than your mom, and you would sit there and laugh your ass off or whatever. So, it seems like back then things that wasn't allowed was like, okay, let me get it because it's not allowed, you know.
Totally. Would you call Richard Pryor the N.W.A of comedy?
Definitely.
Would.
Because
Yeah.
that Wanted album, Richard Pryor Wanted album was like probably some of his best work. I know he had Live on the Sunset Strip, but that Wanted
Hmm.
album was like, how dare you play this in my house? But you know, we have to have it. My mom had it. Every uncle that I had, my mom had 4 brothers, my dad had 3 brothers. Every uncle that I knew had that album. And I remember watching my grandparents sit on the side of the bed listening to the Richard Pryor Wanted album, was laughing his ass off. So it was like everybody had to get it. And back then, especially growing up in the South, this is the Bible Belt. I live in Birmingham.
Yeah.
So NWA in the Wanted album here was like a big deal because it's something that you were not supposed to have.
Hmm. Yeah. Totally. All right, let's talk about Straight Outta Compton. Let's talk about the opening song on this record. This was ranked number 248 on Rolling Stone magazine's 2020 list of 500 greatest songs of all time. It depicts the ups and downs of gangster life on the streets of South Central. MC Ren warns the more punks I smoke, yo, my rep gets bigger. Easy promises, you'll see, I'll get over the hesitation and hear the screams of one who got the lead penetration. Critics said it was glorifying gangster lifestyle, but Ice Cube insists this is merely a documentary. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to feel like, I remember when Menace to Society came out and they said it was glorifying violence, because out of all those movies that came out, like, Boys in the Hood, it's a great movie. I feel like Menace to Society was a little bit realer. Do you know what I mean? It just really felt, in my opinion, where it's like New Jack City was still kind of bright and gangster, like it was literally like a Black Godfather movie. Menace Society was a little bit realer, and I think that's what you're getting from the opening
Let me,
track. I mean, what a
yeah,
better. There's no other song they could have put to open this album better than Straight Outta Compton.
yeah. Minister Society was so real to me because I'm a gunshot. I was shot in '95. And I
Damn.
was shot at point blank range with a sawed-off 12 gauge in a robbery.
Whoa.
Whew.
Yeah, I almost lost my life, and it was like right when I got out of the hospital. Then that movie came out, and that movie creeped me completely out. But I remember every single word to a messed up childhood is not the way I am. It's got me in a state where I don't give a damn. Somebody killed me, but now they don't hear me though. I guess I be another victim of the ghetto. Ain't no mistaking, cause I'm way too young. Trapped stealing because of that. My mom strong seeming on the top. Pops never fickle. Daddy go down by the hands of a boy. I remember the whole straight up minister. That was the theme song to that
Hmm.
movie. So I was obsessed with it, but scared at the same time.
Sure. Sure, man. I mean, I can't imagine what that's like to be shot. You were pretty young at that time. I mean, how much did that? I mean, did that? Usually when you get in a situation where you almost die, it gives you a better perspective on appreciating life. I mean, were you already doing comedy by then, or were you like
Yeah,
thinking about?
as a matter of fact, I got shot the night that they found Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. I got shot
Wow.
that
Whoa.
night. So I
Huh.
come out of surgery and I'm in ICU and I'm looking at the TV in the corner. Wasn't no flat screens back then. You had the little big back TV up on the wall in the hospital, and I see all
Yeah.
these police officers chasing a white Bronco while the thing going doot doot doot. Yep, I'll never forget that. And this
Wow.
nurse coming there giving me a hot sponge bath. That was weird.
What
Yeah,
an
but it's
experience. Oh my God.
it's insane, man. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's like it's like, how much did that influence your comedy? Like when you really started getting into it, like getting shot. Like, does it take the fear away from starting? Because it's like you have a situation where it's like, I almost died. This is the fun shit. Fuck getting nervous about these crowds. Let me go enjoy this because I could be gone.
Yeah, I tell you what, but it made me scared of boxcar Chevys, that's for sure. I was I
Damn.
was I was scared of
Hilarious.
rims. I was scared of a certain anything that reminded me of that night. Uh, I was totally post-traumatic stress disorder from that whole thing. It took me years and years to become comfortable again. Probably almost in my 40s. Because I think when I got shot, I was like 21. 22 maybe. But I had did Def Comedy Jam. I did BET Comic View, and I think I had already taped Def Comedy Jam. So when I got shot, it was all over the news. It was kind of
Oh wow.
crazy.
Were
Yeah.
you profiled at all? Like, were you wearing nice clothes or anything
So
like that? And you changed your
you know,
outfits after that or
back
anything?
back then it was no cell phones. We had sky pages. Remember the beepers?
Oh yeah,
So we
dude. I
had
was just talking about beepers with somebody. I miss those motherfuckers.
yeah, yeah. A chick hit me up on the beeper, so I pull over to the payphone. To put a quarter in the payphone to return the call of the beep.
Hmm.
I was in my little 300 ZX with the T tops. I had the T tops or whatever. I was doing comedy. I thought had it going on back then. And I saw a friend at the payphone. So three guys came around. They had bandanas on, and they was robbing that guy, and they shot me to let the guy know that they were serious. He was like,
Oh,
"Give it up." He's like,
shit.
"I don't have anything." He was like, "Boom!" He said, "All right, give it up." I grabbed my side. I ran.
Whew.
Um, I, if he would have waited 2 more seconds, I was about to jet anyway. And so he shot me, man. And it's crazy thing about it. I went to court, and that guy was not watching where he was going, and ended up on the same elevator with the guy that shot me on the way to court for attempted murder trial. And he saw me, and we made eye contact, and he turned around because he was in the front of the elevator. I was in the back, but I was ready for his ass. Like, you make one wrong move, we gonna, we both gonna be in jail. And he did 25 years. Got out of prison. Was out of prison 3 weeks and was drag racing and got killed.
Whoa.
Interesting. Well, it's karma.
Yeah, so every time I hear Straight Up Menace, I always think about that guy that shot me, for real.
What's scarier? What's scarier, having a gun pulled on you or doing Showtime at the Apollo?
What's scarier? Showtime at the Apollo.
Yeah, no.
Hey, listen. Mark Curry was the host.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was like coming to the stage from Birmingham, Alabama. They started booing right then. I walked
Wow.
out to boo. So Mark Curry, when he shook my hand, he said, do your shit. He said, don't worry about it. It's gonna air. I thought nothing of it. I just followed the directions. I stood out there for 7 minutes and did my jokes. They were booing the whole time. I focused on the camera. I did my jokes. Never told anybody that I was on Showtime at the Apollo until it came on. Why did they take an audience that probably was laughing at somebody like Terry Carpenter or somebody that was actually funny, and they edited it together and made me look like a star, but I actually got booed?
Wow.
Who gives a fuck, dude? You did it. You did your thing.
That's
you did
cool.
your thing. And dude, and everybody was like, that motherfucker killed. And you did kill.
Standing ovation. They let me have a standing ovation. I'm like, what? I said, man, you rocking. You got a standing ovation on the Apollo. I'm on the phone like, yeah. I'm like, no, hell I didn't.
Oh, God bless editing, bro. God bless editing.
Wow.
So I want to just mention the title Straight Outta Compton, and I want to try to say Straight Out of Birmingham, Alabama. What is the biggest thing you learned from growing up in Birmingham, Alabama?
Discipline and structure, for sure. I do a morning show. I have to be up at 3:30. I have to be asleep at 8, in the bed,
Yeah.
lights off, TV off, in the bed, under the covers, 8 o'clock p.m. Anything cuts into that time, I start I'm like Nick Saban. If anything, one thing sets off everything. So I'm really structured. I'm like that with my comedy shows. If that show starts at 7 o'clock, I promise you I'm there at 6:30. I'm ready to go. It's been times where comedians stuck in the traffic. I'm like, hey, if you want to start the show, if we on, like, how you perform at the Airy Crown in Chicago, that union time, I am in my dressing room and available and ready to go. I've had to go out on stage and perform until the other artists made it there. On time, start on time. I don't like, I just don't like bull crap shows, bull crap radio shows, bull crap, nothing. I just, the discipline, the structure, the love of God, respect for others. I'm proud to be where I'm from because, I just like the way I was raised, my teachers, my coaches, my band and musical, I'm a pianist, organist, trumpeter. I played the trumpet. Played Little League football my entire life. If you grow up out in the state of Alabama, you have to play football if you're a male. Like, have to. Alabama and Auburn, Alabama State, Alabama A&M is huge in this state. So football and band brings a certain amount of discipline and structure and respect. So all of that is important. And I got my start at the Comedy Club Stardom. Bruce Ayers was the first to allow me to go on stage. And he always told me, don't embarrass the family. And he didn't play no game. That's when Bruce was like, I met Bruce when he was 39.
Yeah.
I met Steve Harvey when he was 29 and I was 19. So Bruce introduced me to Steve Harvey. And I had my little Flavor Flav gear on. Steve Harvey said, hey, man, he pulled me to the side in the dressing room and said, hey, people paid money to see us perform. He said, tomorrow night, I need for you to dress up. I'm going to allow you to bring me on stage tonight. But tomorrow, I need you to dress better. I said, yes, sir. Back then, that was when comedians was allowed to correct other comedians to make them better. I
Mhm.
introduced Steve. I introduced Steve to come on stage. He came on stage, audience going crazy. I ran out of the comedy club. I drove all the way across town. And I ran in my closet. I got a suit and I put it on right quick. I'm driving on the highway with my leg, with my knees, tying up a tie. And I made it back in time just for him to say, thank y'all for coming out. My name, Steve Harvey, Birmingham. Thank you. Good night. I came back on stage with a damn suit on. And he
Hell
said,
yeah.
hey, he said, young man, he said, follow me. I followed him to the hotel. I think he was staying at the Hilton. And I
Mhm.
sat on the edge of the bed, with a notepad and a pen. And he lectured me for till about 3 o'clock in the morning. And he ended up giving me his radio show. And that's my story.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's so great. How long
Dude,
did wait,
thank
how
God.
long
Go ahead.
after
Huh?
did the radio show happen? When did it
Yeah,
happen? How many?
the radio show came years later, but I
Yeah.
also was one of the opening acts for the Kings of Comedy. Like, so
Mhm.
when you're an opener, you don't get your own limo and you don't get your own dressing room. You have to ride with the host, which was Steve. Steve and I are fraternity brothers. We're all Omegas. DL
Mhm.
Hughley, Steve Harvey, myself, we're all fraternity brothers. But I never allowed that to make me comfortable enough to be in his dressing room doing too much talking and eating the food and making myself
Mhm.
at home. I was professional. I spoke, I spoke when I was spoken to, kept my eyes on my notes, very respectful. And that kind of discipline leads you to bigger things. People like, you know what, man, you got a lot of discipline and respect. So we're gonna give you this opportunity right here. And that's how I ended up getting the biggest urban syndicated radio show in the country because the opportunity was given to me by Steve.
That's great, man. You hear such good things about him, and I mean, what a important comedy tour to be a part of, man. I mean, Spike Lee directing the movie, you get one of the greatest sets of all time from fucking Bernie Mac, and everybody kills it, but it's just Bernie with the milk and cookies, like all of that is so
And last
important. Can
week was
you
25 years for the Kings.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Celebrate.
That's
So I
crazy.
had, yeah,
I got to sit next to Spike on a flight from LA to New York. No, New York to LA, and
wow.
he hadn't slept yet. He had been drinking, and so he was. I had my Redskins jersey on because it was the game. It was the day we were flying, and I was planning to watch the Redskin or the Commanders Flyers Eagles game where we got our asses
Yeah.
handed to us. I had my dog, and he just let me pick his brain because he was a little tipsy still. It was a 6 a.m. flight. We talked about the Kings of Comedy. We talked about
Yeah.
Clockers. It's just I'm such a huge, huge fan of his. And just, what was I know we're off topic, but I can give a shit, dude.
Yeah.
If you want to know about NWA, ladies and gentlemen, watch the fucking movie. I'm talking to Rickey Smiley. I don't give a shit. I'm in Zurich. I don't want to do the notes. I didn't talk to Morty for this album who prepped me. What was your favorite story working with the Kings of Comedy? What is the one that you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm in this room, or Bernie Mac just doing something ridiculous, which is something that always sticks with you and sticks out?
One thing I'll never forget, I was on a local radio show in Birmingham. Steve came on to interview for the Kings of Comedy. It was performing at the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center, you know.
Hmm.
And he said, I'm going to announce something on the air. He said, guess who's going to be opening the show for the Kings tonight? And we were like, who? He said, Rickey Smiley. And like, I was like saying to myself, like, get the hell out of here. Are you serious? I said, okay, let me figure this out. My brain started spinning. I ran out of the radio station, jumped in the car, drove all the way to Atlanta from Birmingham, which is 2 hours, to pick my son up at our meeting location because I was on a visitation schedule. And one thing I never did, I never missed visitation ever. So on Fridays, I was on my way to Atlanta to pick up my son. I picked my son up, brought him back. I went downtown, bought a suit or whatever. Had to run across town to get it tailored because, I'm with Steve, so you can't have on no suit off the rack. It got the look tailored.
Mhm.
So I went
Yeah,
and
yeah,
had the
yeah.
guy to cut it. And I just remember having my son with me. He had on his Chicago Bulls jersey. And I just remember sitting backstage and I saw, look, that DL said, Steve, Bernie, with nice suits on, with their legs crossed. We were sitting in this little booth on the side of the stage with a screen. You could see who was on the stage. I just remember them sitting there. And I remember going on stage because I only get to do 3 minutes. I did 3 minutes, introduced Steve, the audience going crazy. Steve came out there, he stopped the applause. He said, hey, everybody, hold on, stop. Everything stopped. He said, Rickey, come here. And he grabbed me
Nice.
and he stood aside and he said, I want y'all to know, Birmingham, you should be proud because this one is next. And I just remember going to the bathroom crying. And my son that was
Wow.
with me was my son that passed away 2 years ago,
Mhm.
Brandon. So I always think about that moment that Steve did that. I remember how nice Bernie Mac and D.L. Hughley and said, and everybody was to me. And I had a chance to do some other cities with them, and it was a great experience, and it was life changing because I never thought
Yeah.
I would ever perform in front of an audience that big. And then I get a chance to go on tour with Martin. So when I went on tour with Martin, I saw how they did it, and I knew what to do and how to do it, and kicked ass on that tour. I used to be
Mhm.
the first comedian, and then I end up closing some of those shows.
Once you get around people like true professionals, whether it's in comedy, whether it's rock stars, whatever it is, if you see what they put into it and they treat every show like they
Yeah,
got to give. Dude, it's like who did I just go? Like I mean, way way different than N.W.A. But I went to see Coldplay in London, and like he literally says to the audience, he goes, "We're gonna give you our best performance we can give you. We're gonna give you everything we got. So just hopefully, you guys have a good time." And then that's what you do. You put
yeah.
everything into it. And when you do that and you have fun, dude, the crowd's gonna have fun. And I mean, what a group of guys, especially Martin, man, who like, I mean, dude, You So Crazy is such a big, special for me in my comedy career
Yeah,
that it's just like, I mean, to be able to spend that time with him. I mean, but you worked with Ice Cube too, to bring it back to N.W.A. I mean, you
yeah.
worked with him a couple times. Like, you learn anything from being around him?
Hey, you want to hear something funny? I
Please.
opened up. So I started November 13th, 89. It was no black comedy clubs. It was no black nights at the comedy club. I'm working like mainstream.
Mhm.
So Ice Cube and the Lynch Mob, D Nice and somebody else came to town. They said, hey, they want me to open the show. Here I am on stage with a suit on with a comedy club routine. Never take the mic out and say, hey, how you guys doing? You know how we used to hold the mic or whatever. They booed my ass so bad. And I remember Ice Cube and the Lynch Mob, they was over there laughing their ass off. And they was like, hey man, you got to switch it up when you perform in front of black people. And that that was funny. And then I ended up working for BET and I ran into Ice Cube again, whatever. Of course, he didn't remember that. But I did remind him, say,
Mhm.
hey, I'm the comedian that got booed. They laughed about it. But I ended up doing All About the Benjamins, Friday After Next. I did Baggage Claim, First Sunday, whatever. And now we're friends. We're actually friends. He was just on my show a few weeks ago, and he's a regular on the morning show. So just having that history with Ice Cube and all the opportunities that he has provided for comedians like Mike Epps, some more, myself, Cat Williams, putting us in a major movie like Friday After Next, which is a staple in the black
Yeah,
community.
it really
When
is. Yeah.
when after Thanksgiving night, you could see Santa Claus and Day Day and Craig whipping ass with the Christmas tree Thanksgiving
Mhm.
night. you know,
Yeah, I
so
know.
I'm just glad to be a part of that history.
Oh, and dude, I mean, you've had such a great career. You're kind of like You're very Forrest Gumpy. You just had a very like you're just in the right place, the right time, and just work with the right people. I mean, it's
Yes.
impressive. But also, you're a good dude, and like I said, you learn from people early on. Be a good person, show up on time, do your best. You're going to be successful. I mean,
It's it's
it's
crazy.
literally yeah.
It's crazy you say that. You know, Earth. I just talked to Earthquake 10 minutes before I called in.
No
Earthquake,
shit.
yeah, Earthquake is from DC. He said the exact same thing that you just said. I was just bothering me about being a good dude. One thing about me, you ever come to Birmingham and I know you're coming, I'm gonna get in there and cook my ass off because I can cook or whatever. I
I
make
bet you
sure
can.
comedians always can come over here and sit down and have a hot meal, and I'll let them eat, and I'll go in another room and lay down and watch TV. I don't even have to entertain you. Steve, come over here. He would go down to the pond and smoke a cigar, after we eat some food or whatever, and I'll stay in here. He'll go down there and fish. I have lines out there because I got my little pond stock so he can fish and smoke a cigar. But man, anytime y'all ever come to Birmingham and you want some good food, man, you are always welcome to my house.
I'm coming. I'm coming. You're so nice. I bet you could have brokered peace between Ice Cube and Eazy.
They told me on my morning show that I fill in for Jesus when he's on vacation. I stay up all night
Yeah,
answering
I get
prayers.
it. I get it. I get it. All right, we're at the hour. Let's wrap this up, man. I can't listen. I'm gonna
So
stay in
great.
touch with you. I'm gonna talk to you on Instagram. I'm gonna send you a message. Let's do our final questions. And also, like, listen to everybody out there. If you really like, we could go over the facts of the whole record. This is an important record. We didn't mean to show it any lack of respect by not going song by song like we normally do. I'm just on this trip right now, and Jeremiah and I had way too much fun in Ibiza, and half of my brain is still pretty much recovering from that. So edit that part out, Peter. No, leave it in. This is the final questions we ask everybody this. I'm going to put some amendments in this to really go where I feel, I feel like we have to still talk about NWA, and I'll focus it on that too. So the basic ones we always do. What's your favorite song on this record? Straight Outta Compton, favorite song?
I would have to say Straight Outta Compton. That's the one that's more because like as we're Straight Outta Compton is for people to Compton, whatever, and make you proud of your hometown. Straight out of Birmingham.
Yeah. I think that definitely. I think Straight Outta Compton is such a great mission statement to open this. Like I mentioned, I love Gangsta Gangsta. I mean, and Express Yourself, of course, is probably probably one of the more like hittier stuff. But I'm telling you, it's Straight Outta Compton. Is there anything that you skip over on this record?
I listened to Gangsta today. Yeah, you're right about that one. What was the other one? Not the last one. Uh,
Let's see. Is it? We got something to dance
Something to
to.
dance to, yeah.
That's the last song. Quiet on the Set. Look, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is a no skip album. There are some
right.
tracks on it that I definitely go, all right, let me get to this. I think, and I don't think that is a bad thing. I just think, it is a great record, but it is very still musically, uh, it's set in it's in the late 80s. Does that make sense? Like it's not
Yeah.
there's not so much. It's just not so like, dude. It's the experimentation, which with these artists is what came after this, with Ice Cube, with and
Right.
American KKK, or especially Dr. Dre, and even Easy E with the stuff he did with Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, I think this is a great ground, like what is it, blueprint to what they're about
Foundation.
to all do. A good
Yeah.
foundation to what they're all about to do. And you couldn't do any of that shit because it's all influenced from this. So, like I said, I don't love every track on this. It gets a little tiring in the sense of just trying to do this in multiple listens. Not saying I don't
Yeah.
appreciate it, I don't dig it, but I just think the songs on this that are important, like I said, Express Yourself, fucking Gangsta Gangsta, Fuck the Police, Straight Outta Compton. Those are the ones that I love. The rest of them, I think are important. Just it's not those. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for me, it's Straight Outta Compton and Gangsta. Those are two that really stuck with me.
Yeah, dig it. All right, can you fuck to this record? This whole album, can you put this on and have intercourse like you would put on Al Green, or you would put on, a white person would put on like, Deftones or The Cure? You know, can people have sex to this album? Is it a record made for fucking?
Not not that album, because unless you're gonna take some of your anger that you have for the police out on her, you know, clapping those cheeks.
Yeah,
Eh,
it's not.
eh,
It's not. It's not. This is not. This is, there's
you
hip hop
can't,
that you can have sex to, but it's not this.
you can't smash the Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff either, because you feel like if you do that, you're gonna go to hell. So,
Yeah.
but
You can't.
there are some smash songs, but not on that album.
All right, last question, and we'll get you out of here. What would be your mission statement for this record? How do you get someone to listen to this album? What would you say to somebody to listen to this record?
It depends on who it is. Or whatever. I probably could never get my mother to listen to it, because she had found sweet baby Jesus. Uh, Let me see. Some of my uncles, probably not, but I definitely think my 24-year-old son would buy in. I think my 24-year-old son and my 24-year-old daughter would definitely listen to it.
Oh, I think this is a record. Like I bringing it back to that thing I said about that kid, man. It's like it upsets me to know that this person is so just like blind and deaf to the idea that, maybe, yes, maybe the music now is much more, melodic, and there's choruses, but it's like you don't have that without this. And I think that's the reason I do the podcast, Jay, is dude, we've listened to so many records at this point that, even the Dr. John one that we were going to do before this, I listened to it and I was like, man, why is this on the list? And you're like, oh, I get it, because the
It's
guy
good.
did this and that sounds
Yeah.
like that, and that's because of that.
The
This is
evolution of
a
music.
this is a far more important record than just the story, of when you talk about the story of hip hop. This is a point in the story. If hip hop is the movie Breaking Bad or the TV show Breaking Bad, this is like, the moment that he starts really digging, cooking the meth, and being like, not and turning a little bit, and being just a little bit more evil,
Goes
and not in a
dark.
bad way. I'm not saying this is evil. I'm saying this is important, and this is important to move the story of hip hop along. And I couldn't thank you enough. I'm so sorry for the back and forth with the time of doing this. So, dude, thank you so much for coming on, Ricky. I mean, this has
Man,
been a blast,
man,
dude.
thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate y'all, man. Keep talking about uplifting hip hop, man, because it's definitely part of the culture. And I'm just proud to be on this show today, to have this conversation. So thank you, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure, brother.